Today we'll be showing you the Bean Stalker trailer from Bean, and as usual, stick around as I'll be sharing the 3 things I like about this trailer and the 3 things that I would improve.
Hi, my name is Mark, and this is Hank, and we're with Bean Trailer, and this is the Bean Stalker. What I like about this trailer is the story of how this trailer was developed. After we developed Black Bean and introduced it into the market and it became our most popular trailer, I challenged our engineering group to develop a trailer that they would actually spend their money on, and I challenged them to design by subtraction instead of by adding complexity. Bean Stalker is our value-oriented trailer. It has everything you need and nothing you don't. We wanted to create a value-oriented trailer without compromising or sacrificing on what's important. And what's important is durability and off-road capability. That means a robust trailer that will never leak water through the roof line, and a reinforced frame and independent suspension that can handle the rigors of off-road travel. Do you know what I mean when I'm talking about a reinforced frame?
I do not. You're talking in the chassis, a frame within a frame.
Yeah, so we created a boxed solid tube subframe. Inside of the subframe of Bean is an additional frame that has been welded in between the 2 Timbren suspensions, and that is a boxed steel frame that provides additional rigidity for off-road use. Next thing we want to talk about is the Galley, and we really wanted to have a simplified Galley, so we created a Discada mount that fits onto your trailer, and then you have this big disc that you cook on, and you're really familiar with that. In fact, Drew, you gave us this idea when you took Beanstalk out. You used a Timbo tusk with a Discada and told us what a great experience and how easy it was to cook without creating a big mess with pots and pans. And so we now have a Discada mount with a disc that you can move from one side of the trailer to the other side of the trailer.
You always have to go and take everything and do it one step better than me. I've kind of noticed that.
So one of the things that we did with Bean Stalker is simplify the Galley. As you know, Drew, prepping and cleanup is what's hard about outdoor cooking. And so we wanted to facilitate those 2 activities. And so we gave you this nice rack out shelf that can either have 2 sinks in it or 2 cutting boards. So it makes prepping and cleaning up really easy. We also wanted to make sure that you had adequate storage space. So you have this basket, and you have this 1 burner stove, and this is how I make my coffee in the morning. You have 2 5-gallon water tanks, and what's neat about those is if you're out in a remote spot like this, you don't have to take your trailer into town to fill up water. You can just take your tanks into water. So you can establish a base camp and stay out there and just fill up your water. So Stalker has a rack out fridge, and that locks in the out position and features the JP40, which is an extremely efficient fridge.
Extremely. When I had the Beanstalk out with this, I went an entire summer without having to plug in the beans, just with that little bit of solar.
Right. As with all of our trailers, Bean Stalker features a pass-through galley. And what I mean by a pass-through galley, I mean that the galley items in this storage can be shared between the cabin and the galley. You can open those cabin doors and access the same space that we just accessed with these doors. We have a removable jack that swings down so that it makes it extremely easy for you to level on site. And these are 2,000-pound capacity jacks, so they will actually lift the trailer off the ground in case you have a flat tire and need to change the spare. This has the standard Timbren 3,500-pound suspension, but the trailer that we took to San Rafael Swell was the optional 2-inch lift Timbren, and it also featured a bigger Falcon Wild Peak tire.
I think we could have got through San Rafael with the Beanstalk. It would have been harsh, but the trailer would have survived. It wouldn't have depleted its life expectancy. But what would be the difference between a trailer like that, the Mean Bean, and then going up to something like this?
So we have run the San Rafael Swell with a Mean Bean that has the Dexter torsion axle, and it made it through just fine. However, the trailer did bounce around a lot more than it would with a Timbren suspension or the Cloud suspension on Black Bean. One of the things that differentiates Bean Stalker from our other trailers is the amount of standard features that come with this trailer, including a geyser shower, retractable privacy enclosure, and a portable toilet. In addition, a 1,000 watt inverter with an exterior plug comes standard on Bean Stalker, and you can option up to a lithium battery and a solar panel. That way you could charge things like your laptop, like your phone. If you wanted a more powerful inverter that you could use, like we used in the San Rafael Swell to make coffee, Black Bean has a more powerful inverter. An option on Bean Stalker is this 140 watt solar panel that's made out of carbon fiber, and it tethers so that you can orient it toward the sun, meaning you can park your trailer in the shade and actually orient your solar panel to the sun. So the last time you took a trailer out, Drew, you made me put a front box on it, and now I've put a Drew special bike rack on this front box that's not currently available. Another standard feature is this box that we call the Drew box, because we didn't have this until you asked us to put one on a trailer, but it now comes standard on this trailer. And as you know, you can pack a lot of gear inside of this box. And the front box has a molly panel, and we use a molly panel to hang the Discata mount. Standard on this trailer is a max coupler, which is a fully articulating hitch, which is great for off-road use, but it's also great as a theft deterrent, because when you pull this pin, if somebody doesn't have this exact stem, they can't hook up to your trailer.
And for people who've never seen one, what makes the Arctic Tern worth that extra money? Why is people putting this on their trailers?
They're double paned, they never leak, they never rattle, and they have a built-in shade and a built-in screen.
So I love that you can use this in the rain, still have ventilation, and water's not getting in your trailer too, right?
And avoid condensation. When you barely open it, that creates enough air to sometimes eliminate condensation. As with so many other things, rock rails with this laser cut plate are standard on Bean Stalker. This is the interior of Bean Stalker with our turn windows that are super easy to operate and give you the option of a screen or a block-out shade. You also have the same sliding doors on Stalker that you had inside the Galley for access to your storage. You have a huge storage cubby above the Galley storage and a couple of lower, smaller storage compartments inside the Galley. You also have a very roomy interior with an average of about 12 inches more headspace than your average Teardrop trailer, and a queen size mattress with a 100-pound dog on top of it, and the option for a bunk bed for additional kids or for additional storage.
And then that's a tri-fold mattress that folds up if somebody wanted to put it in couch mode.
Yep. So this will fold up into a couch if you want to sit in here and enjoy the day.
And just like any Bean trailer, I think my favorite feature is just the soft lighting.
Yeah.
You have so much control over light.
You have dimmable lights, and you also have soft touch materials, so it feels very warm and very luxurious in here.
The first pro is all the extra space gained by removing the stove. Now, I thought this was going to be a con because the partner stove is a great stove. I thought I would need it, but I'm finding all this extra space for prep, using these buckets as place to hold items while I'm making food just gives me a lot more surface area. So I'm just enjoying bringing my two favorite stoves and using them here in a more portable fashion. I feel like I almost have to mention this Discata and the pros. The last couple years with the Tembo Tusk, I'm setting up those legs, the tripod every time. I'm looking for level ground. I'm storing it away in a small little case. Everything is taking time, and really the main time is just getting it level. You already have to level the trailer, so because this is built into the trailer, it's mounting level automatically. It quickly stores in the tongue box, and then because I'm able to bring my propane stove and there's space for it here, it's just expanding my cooking space out here. I have a ton of pros I could share on this, but I really want to get to the cons and spend some time on what I'd like to see improved. So if you want to see the pros, check out my other Bean videos. I'll link them in the description. But the final pro, I think for me, it's just taking an already great trailer, the Black Bean, and knowing that's going out the door, pretty expensive, knowing the economy is kind of giving us all a little pressure right now, and focusing on something that gets you to the same locations as the Black Bean, has many of the same features, but comes in at a fraction of the price. That's what I want to see more manufacturers do. I love this principle of not adding more to make a better trailer, but adding more by subtraction. But a lot of us just need a pared down trailer that can get us where we want to go. Just know I'm going to be really tough on this trailer and the cons portion, and I want you to know where I'm coming from. If money was no object, still in 2023, the Bean would be the trailer I would pick for our family, hands down. Maybe even the Bean Stalker. Not saying it's the best trailer out there, just saying it's the best trailer for our family. And so because of that, I've really been following them closely. I love being in a Bean, and I've seen them evolve over the years, and they're coming out of that fit and finish stage now. These trailers aren't only ready to just hit the road, they're ready to hit the road for decades. So I think now they are moving into that refinement stage, and there's a few refinements that I'd like to see on this trailer. My first con is going to sound like nitpicking, but after you camp, after a while, these are the things that start wearing you down. And that first one is not plumbing the fuel line back to the Discata, which means every time I go to camp, I have to take the propane out of the mount, bring it back here, go to the tongue box, grab the hose, attach it all, and then do it all again the next day. Sometimes putting away the propane is actually harder than taking it out. Now, I understand why they do it on this Bean Stalker model, because they're trying to keep this basic. They're trying to not add anything to the design so they can manufacture a more affordable and faster manufacturing process in the trailer. I get that, but I even see this on the other Beans. All their other models, yes, they're plumbed to the back, but I still have to manually put that hose into the partner stove every day. Now again, I know this is not a big deal, but I'm seeing other manufacturers all over the country having their propane plumbed directly into the stove, where I just open it up and use it. And these are on off-road trailers, so I know it's not something that can't be done. It can be done. So Bean, if you're listening, I would love that in future models. This next issue is an issue I had with a tongue box on the Bean Stock, and it was some feedback I gave Mark, and I'm still seeing it creeping into this Bean Stalker model. And that is the beauty of a large oversized tongue box like this, is that you have dual doors, so you can get things out on both sides. Well, unfortunately on this Bean Stalker, you really can only use one door because this door is dedicated to the electrical system. So I think this is an easy solution. This is something I've mentioned to Mark before, and that is just partitioning it. So there's enough airflow in here to safely wire this trailer and partition that section off so you can use the length of this. And the length is important because you'll see I cannot and you will not be able to fit in your clam tent. I can't fit in my new Julka triple ensuite tent. And that's the beauty of this. I want that length so I can carry those big items and I don't have to throw them into my tow vehicle. One thing that Mark didn't mention on the walkthrough, not only were they trying to save money, they were trying to save weight. And so for me, anything that saves money and saves weight and functions primarily the same, I'm all for it. So like this Galley with some of the missing components, at first I was like, what are they doing? I don't know if I like this, but when I'm using it in the field, it makes sense. I love everything about it. But when you go into the cabin, there's one sacrifice they made to save some money or manufacturing time, and it's something I really miss.
It worked out really great for our family living in here this summer. I had my own drawer, which was really like luxury because we didn't have this before, so I had a whole drawer to myself.
I miss drawers. Having cargo nets up top, replacing that cabinet system, I don't notice it. Cargo nets at the bottom, replacing the drawers, I do notice that. That was our favorite part of the Bean for May and I, keeping organized. When you pull out a drawer, you can set things in a nice organized fashion. When you're pushing your arm into a hole with a cargo net, everything kind of gets that cluttered camp feel that May and I were kind of running from. That's why we stopped doing car camping. That's why we didn't enjoy the pop-up. That's why we love the Bean, because it's simple and clean and small, but it has a ton of space. It's well organized and it functions more like a little home. So if you're like May and I and you just have to have drawers, I think a simple fix would be removing this netting and getting a Rubbermaid container that fits perfectly in there. So that way you can slide it out, keep things organized, slide it back in. But if you need them, and you know, our family kind of needs them, it sounds like a want, but they really are important. I'd look at a meaner Bean. The Bean Stock has them, not the Bean Stalker, but the Bean Stock, their base model. But the meaner Bean would have similar suspension and be able to get you out into these wild places. If you're wondering why Bean chose to build a fiberglass trailer over a traditional wooden trailer, check out this video on the left here to help you understand the benefits of fiberglass and composite. If you're interested in other similar trailers to this in terms of fiberglass and composite, check out these two videos on the right. As usual, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next episode.